So we are going to talk about multiplying polynomials now. We're going to start with a monomial times a polynomial, so one term times a multi-term. This is really just going to be a review of the distributive property that we've learned, and then a review of the property of exponents, where when you multiply by the same base, you're actually going to add the exponents. We'll start with something easy by taking a monomial times a monomial. So something as easy as 4x times 2x. That's a monomial times a monomial. Well, you can rewrite it, multiply the numbers, multiply the variables. 4 times 2 is 8. X times x, that's x to the first times x to the first, so it's x to the 1 plus 1, which is 2. So the answer is 8x squared. You don't have to do this step here, but go ahead if it helps you out. Some people can just look at it and say 4 times 2 is 8, x times x is x squared, and you get the same answer. Okay? Now, we will try something more familiar. This is something that we learned back when we did the distributive property, which is what we're doing. We're taking a monomial, something with one term, times a binomial, a multi-term polynomial. And we're just going to do that distributive property, the rainbow property. We're going to distribute the multiplication through. So what we're doing is taking 3 times x plus 3 times 5. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. So the answer to this multiplication is 3x plus 15. Again, like I said, multiplying a monomial times a polynomial is just really a review of the distributive property that we learned back at the beginning of the year. We'll try a couple more examples. Here's one that is a little more using of this property of exponents. 2x times 3x to the third plus 2x squared. Again, we're just going to use that distributive property. So we're going to take 2x times 3x to the third plus 2x times 2x squared. Here, 2 times 3 is 6. Remember that this is x to the first. X to the first times x to the third means we're going to take x, and up here we're going to add our exponents. 1 plus 3 is 4, so that is 6x to the fourth. Here, 2 times 2 is 4. Again, that's x to the first times x squared is x to the third. And that is your final answer, because these are not like terms, so we cannot add them together. Let's try one where we're going to take a monomial times something more than a polynomial. Let's take a monomial times a 4 term. 3x, and then in parentheses, 2x to the third plus 5x squared minus 10x plus 7. First thing I'm going to do is add a line, turn that into addition. Again, it's the distributive property, but instead of distributing to 2 terms, we're going to distribute to 4. Now, this is a step that if it helps you, go ahead and do. If not, some of us can go ahead and do this multiplication without writing it out. But we are taking 3x times 2x to the third plus 3x times 5x squared plus 3x times negative 10x plus 3x times 7. 3 times 2 is 6. X to the first times x to the third is x to the fourth. 3 times 5 is 15. X to the first times x squared is x to the third. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. X times x is x squared. And here is just 3x times 7, which is 21x. And so that would be your answer. One final thing I want to show you with this is if you're asked to do more than one multiplication. So x times 2x plus 9 minus 6 times x minus 1. Again, first thing I'm going to do is change all my subtraction to addition. So add a line, add a line. Now, if you follow order of operations, it does say to do parentheses first. Well, we don't have like terms within our parentheses, so we can't do that. Exponents is second. We don't have any exponents, so we don't worry about that. Multiplication and division are next. So we have to multiply on both sides here before we can add any like terms together. So I'm going to do my distributive property twice, once here and once here. So this is x times 2x plus x times 9 on this side. This is negative 6 times x plus negative 6 times negative 1 on that side. And then what I'll do is add my two answers. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times 9 is 9x. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 1 is a positive 6. Now I look for any like terms to add if I have any, and the only ones I have are right here. So this is 2x squared plus 9x, and negative 6x is 3x plus 6, and that would be your final answer. So your homework to practice more with a monomial times polynomials is section 10.3. Problems 1, 2, 8 through 12, and 18 through 20.